What does aging well look like for you?
I think it's important to keep moving, just to stay active. And I think it helps. I work with young people all the time. Mm-hmm. The girls I coach are freshmen and sophomores, and I umpire in the summer, same age level. I'm just around young people all the time.
You're watching A3 Aging Ann Arbor, where we talk about aging and what you need to know. I'm Faye Molitor.
And I'm Sheila Doeden.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining A3 Aging Ann Arbor. We are super excited to introduce you all to one of our amazing caregivers, Joe Page. Joe's been with us how long now, Joe?
I think 3 years. When you were at the other location, I hired in.
Okay, gosh darn. That's a long time. I didn't realize it'd been that long. That's very cool. We wanted to talk to Joe today because there aren't many men that are interested in caregiving. And if they are, we have a hard time finding them. So within the 15 years that we've been doing this type of business, we've only had ever a handful of male caregivers. So we kind of wanted to pick Joe's brain on why he is interested in this kind of work.
Well, my mother was in nursing, and when my dad was ill toward the end of his life, he wanted someone just to spend time with him and talk, and so I was comfortable doing that and just hearing the stories, and I thought I could put it into practice here. So I applied when I retired vending job. I applied at Senior Helpers, and it's been a good fit for me. I've learned a lot.
Well, it's definitely been a good fit for us, and it's been even a better fit for the clients that you've worked with, because there's not one that hasn't absolutely loved you.
You're so well-rounded, Joe. You have so many things that you've done that you can connect with these people at their level, which is just super cool.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, I lettered in I think 5 sports, and I went on to college and played. But I can always remember and I've really remained close to her. Her name was Alyssa Alden, my debate teacher, and she said, "Everybody thought you were just a jog, but I knew better." And I've always tried to, when I go into a client's home, is I look at the pictures and the books and see what they're into. And I've got a pretty good, like Sheila said, a pretty good range of things. And the people from Ann Arbor, most of the clients are, and they're culturally, and I can, maybe World War II and stuff like that, I can go back. And I really like the beat poets of Kerouac and Ginsberg, and I know the Beat Generation, and then I know Greenwich Village, and when they came to the folk, played some of the concerts in Ann Arbor, and obviously when my high school career and on, I know that stuff. So I got a good range that I try to talk, and if I don't know something, I try to look it up, and now you can look everything up and learn stuff. The next time I come back, ask them questions, and it's really been good because people like to talk about themselves.
Sure. And you're learning a little something and kind of learning about them.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And being in Ann Arbor and such a sports buff, like U of M's huge. So to be able to connect with them on a sports level like that, I think you like U of M.
Yeah.
Just a little. That's fun, Joe. So you also coach. So tell folks a little bit more about like what you do on your, I guess it's free time, but you're so busy, I don't know if I call it free time, but the coaching that you do.
Okay. Well, I've been a sports official in high school sports for a very long time. And I played myself a lot of fast-pitch softball. And a friend of mine, Doug Richardson, had the varsity. He asked if I wanted to come to JV and coach. So I've been with him about 5 years coaching softball. And I played a lot of fast-pitch softball.
That's really, really cool.
And you're a swimmer?
Yeah, what happened to me was I was a runner my whole life, marathon runner, and I had a catastrophic injury. I broke my femur. And I wanted to stay active, and so I started swimming. And it's been a godsend for me. If I wish I had discovered swimming a long time ago, because running is kind of hard on your joints.
It
Well,
sure
and
is.
you breaking your femur have a good sense of maybe what some of the people that we work with on a daily are, dealing with. Just the recovery and, just all of the physical limitation and.
I try to encourage the clients to get moving, do what they can do. And I kind of like maybe if they're in a care facility, maybe get a course where we go around and get exercise in, doing what they can do. Because, yeah, I think it's really important. And it's important to not give up, to keep going. And when I broke my femur, I could have gave up. But I just wanted to get back into it.
Yeah, no, that's the will. You have the will, and you're offering that will to our clients, which is a good thing, because a lot of times the family members, the kids or their wives or husbands are trying to get them to do those things. And sometimes it's that outside person coming in that, makes the connection like you do and is able to kind of, in an indirect way, get them to get up and move. Because you're just like, hey, let's do this. And
You're
they
their
just tend to follow your
cheerleader.
lead. Yes. I mean, you're almost a coach in your caregiving position as well, which is a beautiful thing. You kind of bring it into your work field as well. What would you say to folks about, and I would say specifically men, about why this would be a really good path for them to take if they're looking to do something meaningful?
Back in the old days, a person had to be so masculine all the time. And then I came to realize that you kind of have a feminine side where you care. Yeah. And I remember I quit my job, I was working at UPS loading trucks, and a friend of mine was going in vending. And he says, I want you to come work. Would you be interested in switching jobs and moving with us? And I was really struggling with the work. And we were really good friends, and he was my boss, and we'd go back and forth. And I said, I don't know why you keep me here. He goes, because you care. And that was, even though I was doing bad, it was a compliment. And I guess that's why if you're a guy and come to your side where you care about things. And
I love that. I do, but it is so funny to me because it is a generational thing. And like the way we view things now and how boys are being raised now is a little different than how you were raised and how we were raised, because the generation that we were raised in, like you said, men didn't show emotion. They were the strong, and they worked in construction, they worked in engineering, they were mechanics, they were those types of things, and the women were more of the nurturers. And now it's so very acceptable, which is a beautiful thing. It's accepted that men have emotions, which you always did, but it wasn't okay to show it, years ago. And you're such a smushball. And that's a good thing, because the clients just love it. And I mean, your wife has to so appreciate that.
Yeah, my wife struggled with some health issues as of late, and this job's really helped me in that way to help her.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, at least, to stay in the best shape I can be in, so I can help others, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, you stay in good shape, Joe. I'm impressed
That's
by
a
that.
whole nother level of thinking on that, because a lot of times when we're walking in to care for someone, they've got family members who have been doing that, and we're stepping in to alleviate some of that burnout for them. Mm-hmm. And they're not taking care of themselves because they're so overwhelmed with what's going on with their family member. And so to have you step in and be fit and taking care of yourself, I think would give them a little more peace of mind, knowing that when you're there that you've got that for them and that they're all in really good hands, which is just lovely.
Yeah.
What I've learned some is, my dad told me once, he goes, your biggest asset in sports is your weaknesses. And I know my weaknesses in caregiving. So many of the ladies have had so much experience in nursing. Some of them, I talked to have been nursing. So I really try to pay attention. That's my weakest point, is that part of it, the nursing end of it, the medicines and the changing and whatever they can do. So I try to learn from them. And then my strength is talking and speaking to them about the clients about things so trying to get better.
I just love that you're so keyed in like that. I mean, I kind of always knew that, Joe, but this conversation is just opening my eyes more to just how cool you are. You are, okay, so I guess because you just touched on kind of the personal care part of it, how did you feel in the beginning, which you just kind of touched on, but I'd like you to go into a little more detail about it, just to let other folks know that a lot of guys, we had a caregiver hire in, he was one of our handful of men caregivers, and he said, I really want to do this because I feel like it's meaningful work. I've retired from, he was working at a newspaper. I've retired from that, and I really want to do something meaningful. However, I do not do poop. And so, of course, we honored that because we want to work around what people are comfortable with. But you kind of just said in the beginning, maybe not, but as you've evolved in this role and you've watched and you've become more aware of your, I guess, for lack of a better word, feminine side, you seem to be more comfortable with that now. So maybe touch on that a little bit and from how it went from you not wanting to do that part of it, the personal care, the hands-on stuff, and how now you're becoming more comfortable with that.
Well, I was really nervous at first, more nervous because I didn't think I was doing it right. I wasn't that nervous about everyone goes to the bathroom, everybody has needs, and so I wasn't really worried about that, but I was just about doing it right, where I didn't make a mess. And I was watching some of them ladies, man, are like super, and they can just do it. And I just try to follow what they do and ask them questions. And so that really doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, good. So it never really did, but you were always concerned about how maybe, first of all, that you did you understood the steps of the task, right? So that it was a easy, clean moment, but also where you were making that person feel comfortable with what you were doing with them.
Right.
Right? Okay. I just love that you're open to doing that, because seriously, a lot of guys, that's one of the things that they're not interested in, number one. And number two, a lot of times our clients aren't open to allowing a man to do those things to them, and mostly men, which is kind of surprising, You'd think a man would be more comfortable with a man. They're not.
Well, that goes back to the more feminine side and the generation of people that we work with. They feel like women have more of that natural caregiving,
right.
nurturing, and so it's unexpected, right? Yeah. When they come across someone like Joe, who actually kind of encompasses all of the things.
Yeah.
So
I think on one of the last client I had in Ann Arbor, they had a lady that stayed there all the time, was helping, and he was a cancer patient, and I just was, when you moved him, he just screamed so much, and I hated to. She goes, "You got to do it, Joe, anyway." And I was always, so I really am sensitive. I don't like to see people in pain. I know how it. Yeah. I just hate that part. But I know what comes with it. So.
Sure. And no, it's really good because we're kind of hoping to inform people on what it looks like not only as a caregiver, but because you're a guy, and a lot of guys don't want to do this kind of work, and now you're just opening folks' eyes to some of the challenges that you might experience in this role. People are in pain, and we hope that if they're at that stage with a disease or a chronic ongoing condition, that they're getting the comfort meds that they need. But there's breakthrough pain. And it sounds like this gentleman had that, and that you were super sensitive to it. And I bet you brought him a lot of comfort and joy, Joe.
I really got to know them. He came from New York City, and he liked a lot of things. He just liked me to ask questions. But I can remember I was overnight care with him a lot, and you're allowed to rest a little bit when they're not. And have you ever act like you're sleeping but you're not? I was there laying there, and the lady came in, and I didn't know, and I was listening to it. I heard her say, "I like you." And he goes, "I do too." And made me feel good.
Yeah.
So cute,
That's
Joe.
awesome.
I was acting like I was sleeping.
Yeah.
But after that, then I knew they liked me, and it really made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
yeah.
it just brings another level of comfort, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah. Was that the couple that you were making, that you brought pizzas to?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
And
always
those
so
little
thoughtful.
things that you do above and beyond just being there are amazing. So
Yeah.
just very thoughtful and in tune and very perceptive.
Sure.
So.
What did Teresa think about you wanting to do this kind of work? When you first decided, I think I'm going to talk to senior helpers about a job, what did she think about all that?
I think
Teresa is Joe's wife, by the way. Sorry, I should be clear on that. Yeah.
I think maybe we both. I didn't really know exactly what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't. I thought maybe it was just taking people to appointments.
Sure.
And I think maybe she did too.
Yeah.
And then when I came down and interviewed, I found it was a little more. So and then as I told her more and more, she's really, she's limited physically now, but listen and talk to her. I can talk to her about things that go on. If I struggle, I said, boy, I did bad today.
I'm sure she's got some good feedback for you.
Yeah.
You can bounce stuff off of her.
She's organized, and that's a little bit of my weakness. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's a great lady, Joe. And it's lovely that you guys have each other. And it's super cool that you've learned some of the things that you've learned doing this type of work so that you can help her with that limited mobility that she has. So
What do your girls
that's
think?
a good thing.
See, I have one in Chicago, a daughter, youngest daughter. I don't see her lots, because she travels a lot. She's in the makeup industry, but she knows. I always have had a caring attitude. I think, and I talk to her about it too. And my oldest daughter's, she has a grandson, and they live near us, so I see her a lot. And I do talk to her about, things that go on. They both are very supportive.
Yeah, and you're surrounded by females, so that may be one of the factors that, also helped with this.
Funny, we have four.
this
I grew up with all boys.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, well, you mentioned that you have a feminine side, and you are a fashionista, so
Every
we're
time we
always
see
so
you,
impressed
you're just
on how well dressed and put
dressed.
together you are, Joe. Yeah, that's cute.
It's so funny because I went to I studied Bible at a Baptist college, and it's just it's like if you got to wear a necklace or anything, they tear it off. It was so funny. I can
Sure.
remember once in chapel the speaker saying, "Okay, someone dropped an earring on the floor. If it's yours, if you're a female, come up and get it. If you're a man, don't even try." I mean, I did come from a thing that was overly.
Yeah.
You were this way. You were this way. So I
Sure.
discovered I wasn't really.
Yeah. No, I think we all have, like I said, I was a super I mean, I come from 7 kids. I'm the youngest of 7. And I had a twin brother and then an older brother from there. And then, more boys than girls. 4 boys, 3 girls. But I was always a tomboy. I didn't really hit like where I really liked makeup and fashion until I was like 18, 19. And I grew up with mechanics. My brothers and my dad were all into hot rods, so we had a lot of really cool cars that they were always working on. So I learned all of that stuff. And it was never necessarily looked down upon for a female to be a tomboy. But it was 100% not okay for a man to be feminine and show their feminine side and want to be a stay-at-home dad, say. That was unacceptable. So it's so cool to see that things have really transitioned and that now it's all accepting. Because men have emotions and they should be able to show it, So we're really glad to have you. And your little feminine side, Joe. Oh, my goodness.
So I guess one of the things that Faye and I ask our guests, and hopefully we're not throwing you off guard, but what does aging well look like for you?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
Let me see, I'm 60, I'll be 67 this year, and I don't really feel it.
Well, then you're already aging well.
I think it's important to keep moving. I just think that's, to me, very important, just to stay active. And I think it helps. I work with young people all the time. Mm-hmm. The girls I coach are freshmen and sophomores, and I umpire in the summer, same age level. I'm just around young people all the time. But if something, I just like to roll with the flow. If something would come in my life where hopefully I'd be able to handle it like something, any of the clients. I've learned so much from the clients, how they've aged, how even though they're struggling with major issues, how they keep going and keep. And
it's inspirational, isn't it?
Yeah, some don't even seem worried.
Yeah.
They just keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
I've learned. I made so many friends, and I guess that's the hardest part about senior helpers is losing them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You get to know them so good, and you kind of know they're on borrowed time, and maybe they do too. But I try to not look at it that way. Mm-hmm. Like if someone with dementia, I just keep talking to them. Maybe they struggle a little bit with their words or remembering things, but just talk to them normal and let them share things and don't worry about.
I agree. Yeah, you're just so good at it. It's lovely because you really do key in on each individual. And they know it, they feel it because it's about them when you're with them, and that's a good thing.
I'm learning every day, learning more and more, especially the hands-on part. It's neat when I'm relieving a lady, usually women, either coming or going, and just picking their brain and learning things, what they did the night and how it went and how they did it, and just ask questions.
Sure. Yeah. Well, then kind of if you're relieving someone, what you're walking into. If they're walking in and you're, relieving you, they have an idea of what that looked like, for you. And it's just learning about these people that we're caring for to have a better understanding of what we can do to help just alleviate some of their symptoms and make them more comfortable. And I do agree with you. The hardest part, I feel like, and Faye and I have talked about this, doing this kind of work, you're absolutely right. The hardest part is when you're there with someone, and we've had clients that we've been with for years and have a very established relationship with these folks. We're like family. Some of it's shorter, sometimes we're only with people for a couple of weeks, but what an honor and what a privilege to be able to be there with people at that stage of their life and bring them comfort and bring the family comfort, even though it's a really hard thing to do, but to not look at it like that you're losing someone, to look at it more where we've brought them some joy at that stage, is a lovely way to look at it.
There's no better privilege than offering that kind of comfort to somebody at the end of their life. You're not only offering the comfort to them, but you're offering the comfort to their families, and you become a part of the family in every aspect, every client that you go see. You talked about the families or the clients being such an inspiration to you. You're quite an inspiration too, Joe. You have so much that you emulate without boasting or bragging about it. It's just who you are, and people see you and your grandeur, and they want to be like you. And that's why we wanted you on the show, because you emulate such a kind soul, and you also emulate, what a good word that I need to find about you. You emulate strength. You're a kind, strong soul, Joe, and it's a good thing. Yeah.
That meant a lot to me. Marvin, I was the last client I had.
Yeah.
I went to the funeral, and his wife came to me and just said that, you always wonder when someone first comes into your home. She goes, but I just fell in love with you the first day, and it just made me feel so emotional.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Emotion's good. It's and you're so humble about it, which is a beautiful thing too. And I know this wasn't easy for you to come on and talk about yourself, but we're really glad you did.
One thing that, even though a person is completely maybe lost a lot of memory, one thing I really learned is music. Even though they've lost all their things to remember, they remember songs and can even sing them, even on their last.
Sure.
Just amazing.
It's a universal language.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the rhythm. It's the even Bible verses. If you say them in a rhythmic way, they will speak them with you, even if they're nonverbal. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing to me.
Yeah.
A gal that was at one of the facilities. Yeah, all the old hymns. She could, even though she'd mouth them all and say the words. It was just amazing to me.
Yeah.
Well, and it's lovely that you know those things to do that with them.
Yeah, thanks.
To comfort them.
What's even more lovely is that if you don't know them, you're doing research to know them, so that when you see them the next time, you have a common ground with them. That is really not something that a lot of folks do, Joe. That is, like, for real, a heart of gold, that you take the time to really understand somebody and then go behind the scenes on your downtime and learn things that person is interested in, so that you can go back and connect with them even at a higher level. That's unprecedented. So we appreciate it. And we love you for it. Yeah. Anyway. Thanks for coming, Joe.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for coming on the show. Teresa's going to say, you know what, Joe? You're already a fashionista, and now you're a superstar. We appreciate you so much, and we hope you all appreciate this episode as much as we really enjoyed talking with Joe today. This episode was sponsored by Senior Helpers. Please click the bell button below and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Have a good day. That was A3 Aging Ann Arbor, your source for all things aging.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Thanks for watching.
This episode was sponsored by Senior Helpers of Ann Arbor.